Hey, just cut out to take the dog for a walk, teed up my Bloomberg mobile, and the headline said, "Fighting words, Trump unsure whether he wants a deal with Iran." This is a gross misrepresentation of the tone of today's cabinet meeting, which would be better characterized as, they're looking to make a deal. I don't really want to make a deal. They're begging me to make a deal. I might make a deal. I might not make a deal. We could make a deal. So they're clearly in negotiations. We got a briefing from Steve Witkoff confirming that messages are going back and forth. We got as much from the Iranians today that basically said they didn't like the U.S. opening offer and they've countered. So I don't really understand the market reaction today. The news was not bad. There are clearly negotiations occurring through third-party intermediaries. An offer was made, a counteroffer was made. Also, there were comments from both Foreign Minister Araghchi and the Iranian Parliament Speaker, Mr. Ghalibaf, both basically declaring victory. This was a great victory for the Iranian people. Araghchi said something like, this is one of the most glorious moments in 1,000 years of Iranian history. They're talking like it's over. They're spiking the football. They think they're in the end zone. They don't think they're on the 10-yard line. And, this is an opportunity for the regime in Iran to say, we fended off the bad guys, declare victory, make some kind of deal, extract some concessions maybe, because Trump doesn't want to go to next level. That's obvious. They actually come out of this, aside from the fact that their economy has been destroyed, they come out of this in probably a stronger domestic political posture, at least in the short term. So it's an assurance of survival. I'd say a deal with Trump actually gives them a little bit of a stamp of international legitimacy, and they can live to fight another day. The alternative is they push Trump into a protracted stalemate with very high costs on both sides. And again, these figures in Iran just weren't talking like they were preparing the society for a long, grueling stalemate. They were saying victory's at hand, basically. So this all smells like it's moving towards some kind of talks and a negotiated settlement before things go to next level. I'd also say I think people are maybe underestimating the effect of some really serious intelligence breaches going on in Iran. These guys must be looking at each other at this point like, was it him? Was it him? Is it my cousin? Is it my wife? Who's the rat? Last night, Israel seems to have taken out the commander of their Navy. That's a kind of environment in which it's difficult to have too much confidence about their chances in a protracted stalemate. Of course, they can impose very high costs on President Trump. He does not want to pay them, which is why this is a good time for Iran to make a deal. I think they will. I would lastly note that Trump alluded to the possibility of actually agreeing to moving U.S. bases out of the Gulf in today's press conference. So I think Trump is willing to allow Iran to monetize their leverage here to some extent. But if they overplay their hand and push him into taking next steps and saying, well, screw it, now we got to close the strait and let oil prices go wherever they're going to go, Iran's leverage immediately dissipates and the regime's survival is no longer assured at this point. So to me, logic dictates a deal. The contours will probably be something that the pinheads on Twitter and academia will criticize Trump for, maybe rightfully so, but that's not really going to resonate with the voting public, I don't think, and he can try to put this behind him politically. So we'll see how it all turns out. To me, today was a day that got us closer to a deal. Somewhat surprised the equity market can't seem to see that.